Hi guys, this is Rick Deutsch, and you might know me as Mr. Half Dome. We have a special treat today. We have a young lady named Gina Bartiromo with us today. And the reason I wanted you to see this video, Gina in 2009, it was June 6, 2009, she slipped down the backside of Half Dome at Yosemite National Park and lived. She estimated that she was traveling about 30 miles an hour when she hit an upward facing slab that saved her life. She fell perhaps about 150 to 200 feet, an amazing story. So I just wanted to get together a little bit with her, and we're going to learn a little bit how she overcame that, actually a little bit about her fall, and see if we can pick up some advice on how to hike Half Dome safely. And we're going to see what she's up to now. She's made a great recovery, and so let's go ahead and meet Gina.
Hi there, I'm Gina.
Hey Gina, I'm glad that we're able to get together today, and I know your accident was pretty traumatic, so I don't want to cause you any problems today. So could you just tell our audience a little bit about what happened on June 9th of 2009?
Yeah, so a friend and I were on our way up. We got to the top. It was a little bit cloudy, so we decided to just get ourselves right back down. And on the way down, one of the poles was uprooted from the rock. The 2x4 was off kilter because of that, and the cable was disconnected from the pole. So I had no stability on the bottom or on the top, and it became really challenging to get down. Right at around that time, it started to sprinkle, and that turned into a flurry of snow in June. That's the dramatic weather change up there at the top.
And then I understand coming down on that day is when you had your trouble.
Yes, it was coming down. I was probably a fourth of the way down.
And then briefly what happened and how did you slip and fall?
I was struggling to get myself down, to get my footing as well as the stability up at the top at the cable. And my friend was doing her best to try and get me more stable. And I don't know exactly what happened. I kind of lost it. I don't remember from that point until 2 weeks after. I guess I started to slip and started ricocheting off the rock, going about 35, maybe 40 miles an hour as I hit the rock and caught air, hit the rock, caught air, as continuously until I found that little ledge saved me from falling. Apparently, a 1,000-foot drop was only about 4 feet away.
Yes. For the audience, I believe that you fell as you're looking up the cables on the left side is where you slid down to.
Yes.
And you were extremely lucky to hit that rock in one respect. I know it messed you up pretty bad. And just correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you had a fractured skull. You broke your jaw in 3 places. You broke your collarbone, you broke a rib, you broke your sacrum, and you had 3 spinal compression fractures. A lot of bleeding, a lot of swelling of the brain, 3 teeth uprooted, large hematomas and lacerations on your skull, behind the ear, and calf. Does that pretty well summarize what happened?
That pretty much summarizes that I was very injured, and I don't remember any of it. I guess I was face down against that ledge for 3 hours as the rescuers were trying to get to me, and I was lucky enough to have a fellow hiker and his nephew-in-law, Rick was his name. He was with me because my friends were so distraught they were sent down to a more stable place.
Okay, now I understand that day the weather was so bad it took the helicopter, what, about 5 tries to actually land on Subdome?
I'm not sure how many numbers it would have been. I don't know how many times it was. I believe it was 3 times, and that on their last attempt, they were low on fuel. The cloud coverage was so intense that they couldn't see in order to let the rescuers down out of the helicopter. And low on fuel, and they were about to have to stop because of the sun going down, and they're not allowed to fly after sundown. So one of the rescuers told me that it was just everything last minute just came together in order for them to let the rescue crew down to me.
Wow, I talked to some people at the park, and they said that day they couldn't even see Half Dome. It was that bad. Boy, you had an angel looking over you, didn't you?
Yeah, and the helicopter had to go at such an angle in order to, let the rescue team down. So it was danger after danger that they were facing in order to save me.
That's pretty amazing. So they were able to get you in one piece off the rock into the helicopter. And what hospital did they take you to?
I can't remember right now.
It's okay.
It's
somewhere in Merced or Modesto?
Modesto. I think it was called Doctors Medical Center in Modesto.
Okay. And can you tell us what your prognosis was at the time? And
I was actually a Jane Doe for about 12 hours because my friend miraculously at the campsite had my parents' contact information from grad school. We had gone to grad school together, and for whatever reason she had this address book with her, so she was able to relay my information as well as the contact information, but for whatever reason from helicopter A to B to the hospital it got lost, and so I was taken in and taken care of as a Jane Doe until my friends called really early the next morning to check in on me, and that's when they had to pass on the information again.
And with all these injuries, when did you come to and kind of realize what had happened to you?
It was about 2 weeks later. I was in a semi-coma state for approximately 2 weeks. And my first memory was actually being transferred from one hospital to another hospital. I remember waking up in the ambulance and seeing the trees as we were going as we were continuing to go in the ambulance. I remember seeing the trees out the window, and then that was my very first memory. My second memory was my mother sitting on the side of my bed telling me what had happened in a real quick nutshell, and that's when I realized that I am very lucky to be alive, and ever since then I've just had gratitude oozing from every cell.
Well, you know, I had heard of your accident and just wanted to get in touch with you and tell you that it's a miracle that you're alive, and I'm glad you were able to survive, because you've certainly done well with your recovery. Can you tell us what you've done to share your experience with other people? And
yeah, I joined the brain injury support group, and I've been able to share my story with other brain injury survivors, and I'm still in the process of healing. I still have things that I'm working through, and this is 4 years down the road, so it's a long process, but I feel that optimism keeps me going.
Well, I have to say, just watching you, the recovery, I just can't believe what I'm seeing. I wouldn't guess you had any problem whatsoever.
I am very fortunate that there's nothing visual to see. I'm not in a wheelchair anymore. I was initially not in a wheelchair anymore. My talking is back to normal. My jaw is back to normal. I didn't even on that day have any bruises or breaking on my actual face that you could see. So all of my scars are behind my ear, on my calf, in my spine, in my jaw, so it's not visible.
That's excellent. So you're now in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, and I know that you're starting out with your enterprises, and maybe you can tell us what you're doing. And
so now I do life coaching, and I aim to share my story with the world and try and help people to live the fullest life that they can, to face challenges in a positive way, knowing that everything happens for a reason, and we can overcome pretty much anything, and as a life coach I can guide you into whatever it is that your heart is seeking, and sometimes it takes a lot of energy and effort to get where you want to go, but it's possible.
Well, you've certainly got the background for life coaching after what you've been through. Now, I understand also you're into yoga now.
Yeah, I became a certified yoga instructor thanks to a scholarship that I got from Kripalu Yoga Studio, and it was 20 months after all of these injuries, and yoga has been such an important part of my healing process. I do yoga every single day. It's needed for my spine because that alignment needs to be adjusted on a daily basis, otherwise I'm in a little bit of pain. So I became a certified yoga instructor, and then I became certified in chair yoga through Lakshmi Voker, and that's for anyone that has injuries, whether it's an ankle injury, knee injury, hip injury, or even if just you don't want to get up and down on the yoga mat. Sitting in a chair, you can still get all the benefits of yoga.
That's excellent. Now, I think to document your story and your upbeat attitude to life, you have a website called The Unfolding Self.
I do.
Excellent. So we'll promote that for you, and we'll try to get you going back again. I think it's just amazing. Now, have you been back to Yosemite since your accident?
I have. I haven't done Half Dome, but I have been back to Yosemite, yes.
And how do you feel about Tissiack, which is the Indian name for Half Dome?
I love Half Dome. I feel very connected. I have a very strong heart connection with Half Dome, and actually sat just beside a lake with Half Dome in the background and meditated when I saw her for the first time again. I feel very connected.
Wow. Have you been able to hike at all?
Yeah, I've been doing little gradual progressions. Going downhill is quite hard for me, and it's not that it's pain, it's more so that my body still has some anxiety about going downhill, but I'm going in increments that work for me, and I have no fear of hiking. I have every every plan in the world to be able to be outdoorsy and
Wow.
the lifestyle that I was living before.
Excellent. Well, in conclusion, are there any final tips you'd like to give people that love Half Dome and want to get up Half Dome? And
If you're going to hike Half Dome, definitely research Half Dome, prepare yourself, read the Half Dome book from Rick, and make sure and leave first thing in the morning so that you're safe, because the weather changes so dramatically up there. If it looks sunny at 8 o'clock in the morning, it doesn't mean that it's going to be sunny at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So make sure and go first thing in the morning, wear proper clothing, wear lots of layers, bring water and food, and I would even say go with, backpack and partners. Don't go by yourself. Let people know. Yeah, there's I think even carabiners can be helpful.
Okay.
Times, yeah.
Well, thank you for your time, and we wish you good luck, and let's keep in touch.
Thank you.